Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight here on Connecting Hope on TV40. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer of the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs.
Yeah.
And I want to know a little more about what COPE is. What is COPE?
COPE stands for Community Opioid Prevention Efforts. So what we do is we have quick response teams that respond to an individual patient that has survived a overdose on opioids. And we have a team of fire, law enforcement, and a peer recovery specialist on the teams that go to a home visit. The goal is to get them into treatment and to prevent another overdose. We leave Narcan kits for the family in case there is another episode before the person gets into treatment and into recovery. But it's been a great program so far.
Yeah, and recently I was able to attend, I go to most of them, but the COPE, like just the board meeting, and Ben Wilson was there. He's from Aspire, Indiana, and he was going through a presentation about stigmas.
Yes.
That's a big thing in this world right now.
It is. We have to be really careful about the language that we use. We don't want to offend people. We don't want them to feel like they are less than because of their illness. So it's very important to learn the right language so we can communicate right.
And I use the wrong language on this show several times. I'll bounce around and I'll forget, okay, I shouldn't say that. But that's what Ben's presentation is all about. He kind of helps people, and he goes all over the place telling people this is how you should refer to this.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, if you mess up, but it's knowing that you did mess up and correct yourself, and it'll be common language eventually. So.
Well, I get a chance to talk to Ben about stigma and just kind of his reaction to what this is all about.
The presentation is about changing the language that we use when we are speaking about individuals with substance use disorders, mental health disorders, co-occurring disorders, to reduce stigma. My hope is with this presentation in the training is to educate, inform the public, not only the public, but also to educate and inform people who have contact with individuals with substance use disorders, co-occurring disorders, first responders, counselors, medical providers, anybody who interacts and works with these individuals, whether they're providing treatment services, emergency response services. Well, stigmas overall create barriers to treatment. And so individuals who have substance use disorders, co-occurring disorders, oftentimes they will they'll refuse, or they won't want to seek treatment for lots of different reasons. But one of them is because of the stigma. They don't want to be associated with the label of somebody who has like an alcohol use disorder or even a mental health disorder. So it's bringing awareness to people and the public so that we can reduce those stigmas by the way we speak and how we talk. I see a lot more conversations. I see a lot more attention is being focused on this topic about changing the language over the past few years. I just saw something here and there, but now, organizations, national professional organizations are adding to the discussion, finding it important. There's research going on now about the effectiveness of changing our language to reduce stigmas. So, yeah, I think more and more people are focusing on, changing the language to reduce stigmas.
Thank you, Ben, again for trying to explain a little bit of what that's about. But here's maybe one way to kind of go through this. Common words and phrases that can promote stigmas. If you look at these, instead of alcoholic, you should say
person with alcohol use disorder.
And then the other ones on there, you'll see drug addict.
Person suffering from drug addiction.
So instead of saying substance abuser, it's better to say
individual who abuses substances.
And instead of saying clean,
sober.
That's one that a lot of people say clean a lot.
Clean and dirty,
when they mean sober.
Yeah.
And then drug.
Yes, prescription medication.
Yeah. So those are just kind of examples, and some people watching say, well, that's kind of extreme, but that can hurt people if you don't say the right thing.
Yeah, it's demeaning, it's hurtful. It's just better to use the language that doesn't make them feel bad about themselves. Yeah.
Very interesting information. Well, now it's time for our success story, and here's part one of this week's success story.
I started my substance abuse at a young age, around 10, 11 years old in grade school. It started very early on, and it helped me, or it didn't help me, it made me feel accepted in a lot of ways. There were some family issues at home, and it kind of just got me outside of myself, and helped me get through anxious situations and certain situations I didn't know how to navigate when I was younger. And it continued through high school, through college, all the way up to my mid-30s. Where did it lead me? It led me to some bad places, When I started out, you see movies and you see people depicted in movies, and you think you'll never end up being like that, and that's what happened to me. I was pretty much almost homeless at one certain point in time. It led me to a very heavy opiate use, and a lot of the friends I grew up with kind of pushed me away, rightfully so, and it caused a lot of fighting with my family as well, and just me being alone, and there was a point in my life where I did not know how to, or thought that I could carry on day-to-day activities without using a substance. I just was convinced that that's what my life was going to be, and I would just end up dying that way. And it was a pretty sad place to be, but that's just how I lived my life, in a very sad way like that.
Again, another success story. That's part one. A little bit later in the show, we'll have part two of that story. But again, I love the fact that they're willing to just open up and tell their story.
Yeah, there's so many people struggling that if we can share a personal recovery story and it helps someone get into treatment and get into their own recovery, that's a win for us.
Noble Act. We're going to talk about them next, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ben Luger.
Yep.
And help.
Yes.
We're going to have that and more when Connecting Hope continues. Welcome back to Connecting Hope. We're so glad that you chose to watch our show this evening. I'm Will Hampton, along with Monica Greer from the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs, and we have a special guest from the Noblesville Police Department, Officer Ben Luger. Ben, glad to have you here, and so much going on in our community, maybe more than people know in this world, huh?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm gracious to be here.
Yeah. The program is called Noble Act.
Yes.
The quick, easy question is, what is Noble Act, and what are you kind of focusing on?
So Noble Act is the City of Noblesville's initiative to try to connect our residents with community resources. We want to empower them to have resiliency, to get connected with services that are going to strengthen their lives.
Good. So, so what are the different types of referrals that you would make to a person?
So typically the way the program's working is our officers respond to the scene of a mental health crisis, a substance abuse crisis, or they just recognize there's some sort of need being not met. Mm-hmm. They'll send me a referral saying this is, the individual, this is what we kind of saw, and I'll put together kind of a package identifying what needs they may need, and we'll try to present that to them to help make that connection. So some of our great partners like Aspire, the Shepherd Center, the Hamilton County COPE program will help facilitate those connections to, and again, just focus on that empowerment for that individual.
Good. So kind of reducing barriers for them to get help. So
Yes.
It might be homelessness or domestic violence or food, that type of thing. And so, yeah, that's definitely needed. So many people feel like they're stuck, and this would help get them to where they can be healthy and manage their life. And
The whole goal is we want to prevent future crises.
Yeah.
We don't want individuals to have to rely on the police department, on the fire department. That's a traumatic experience to have them show up. So if we can prevent that with early intervention and connection to resources, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
We do recognize there are going to be times where there's a crisis that occurs. Yeah. So we want to provide that follow-up. So after that crisis and I get that referral, we'll try to make contact with that family or that individual, see what's going on, make sure they're doing okay, and they can get those unmet needs fulfilled.
So is it a referral from the officers who were on duty that night that actually ended up at the homes, or does it connect to the families directly where they reach back out to you? How does that connect?
It can go both ways.
Okay.
So our officers can directly refer somebody to me for that follow-up, as well as our community members. I can My email is on our City of Noblesville Noble Act website, as well as my direct phone number that they can reach out. We can set up a time to meet with that family, even if they didn't have police come, but they have a family member that they're concerned about. If we can connect to them before that crisis, then we've saved that tax dollars, we've saved traumatic experiences. So we actually have a Noble Act phone number. It's a non-emergency, non-crisis line, but allows them to reach out to us and say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we need help with. That phone number is 317-770-1420. It'll have a prompt when you call that number, and it'll give you 3 different options to choose from. The first option being a crisis worker with Aspire. So if you need somebody just to kind of walk through some de-escalation or get directly connected with Aspire, you can use option number 1. Option 2 goes to me, so we can set up that time to talk about resources and services. And then our fire department has a community resource paramedic. So they can also be assistance if maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to the police, or you have more of a medical related issue that's going, like chronic pain, fall risk, things of that nature. They can kind of take over and provide those services to you.
So this could be even before there's an incident that requires the police to show up at a house.
Yes.
They are noticing something's going on and they need to call. Again, what's that phone number again?
It's 317-770-1420.
I know Mayor Chris Jensen, his administration, along with Public Safety Director Chad Connect, it was a big part of the new administration, is they really wanted to focus on mental health. And that's really where this starts, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, this is the brainchild of those great men in this administration, so I'm honored to be a part of it and help support it. We're growing every day. We're increasing our partner list, everything from national organizations like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to small businesses, small communities like Links to Learn, which focuses on our autism community.
That's great. And you developed a resource for them as well that you hand out?
Yes, so I try to individualize this care for every family because everybody's needs are different. So one of the things that we do provide families when we meet up with them is I created a Noble Act community resource list. So on the front side of this sheet, it has all these different numbers as a good starting point, because that's the hardest time to go. Where do I start? Well, hopefully there's some resource on here that's a starting point. All these numbers are 24/7. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can look at this sheet and go, here's a place to start that conversation and start getting help. And then on the back side, I put together what I call my mental health interventions plan. So in the midst of a crisis, it's hard to think of what to do. So if we have it pre-planned, if you have kind of already recognized what those triggers are, what those coping skills are, who your support systems are, you can use those in that crisis to maybe de-escalate that, maybe not have to involve the fire department or the police department, because we know that adds so much more stress and anxiety to a situation. So when I go over with families, I encourage them to fill this out with their families, post it on the fridge, let them know these are what is going to work and help me overcome that crisis and build that resiliency.
That's
good.
great.
Now, a lot of people watch this show, or they're not from Hamilton County or Noblesville specific. If you had a success story or something that you could tell that maybe other communities say, you know what, I would like to have a Noble Act type system in my hometown. What's a story that maybe makes them think, okay, this can work?
So we have an individual that was suffering from substance use disorder. The police department responded to this individual multiple times. This individual had multiple arrests. I was able to meet with her and her family, and we got them connected with services. Now she's in treatment. She is clean. She's not involving with the police department or the criminal justice system, and she's working towards a full-time employment. Last time I talked to her, she was doing extremely well, and that's a big success that I see, not just for her, but for the community as a whole. Is, we were able to empower her and get her connected to those services.
Just kind of what you signed up for when you became a police officer, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe not exactly this, but the idea is to help people and extend the services, right?
Yes.
And it's changing the image of the police department and the police officers. I mean, they are building a trust with you and a connection with you that they probably didn't think they were going to have with the police. So that's awesome.
We hope so, and this is a joint venture with our fire department as well. They do such great work on the physical health side. And we couldn't do it without their support.
Yeah.
We were able to add that community resource paramedic who can also respond to the scene of the mental health crisis, to be that medical guidance to help de-escalate that situation, provide comfort and care to that family who's going through a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for noble act and for your service to our community. It means a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're back to wrap up this show, Connecting Hope, right after this timeout. Welcome back to Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer, and I'm glad that the people watching chose to watch our show tonight,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think why they watch are the success stories.
Yeah, that's an interesting part. Plus the resources that they might not know about. So
Or you. They're here for you.
Or Will
Your
Hampton.
mom is definitely watching for you.
and your mom.
Definitely. Okay, part 2 of this week's success story. Let's hear from that.
I had known for a while that something needed to change. Did I want to accept it? No, I did not. It was just the people around me that I was hurting, you know. I had some spells of being sober before, and the people I was hurting, and I remember one day I was at work, and I was in this period where you know, my substance abuse had gotten to a point where I had to use in order just to function because I would physically get sick, and I couldn't use every day, and so I'd be sick at work, and I just did not want to carry on anymore like that, and something just came over me to seek help, and that's what I did. I had gotten help before, so I knew where I could go and what to do. So I made a call, and I got some help that day, and I told my family what I was doing, and they knew it was coming, of course. But you know, and it had led me to where I was, you know, I was engaged, living in a great place with her. I was living back with my parents at 36 years old, and you know, they loved me so much they just didn't know what to do with me at the time, you know, and I saw that me putting them in that situation to where they just did not know what to do with me, and they loved me so much that them, you know, they were hard on me, but still showing me that they loved me really helped me, that I could see that they loved me no matter what, because when I was out there using, you know, you can convince yourself that no one loves you anymore. But we don't understand the pain that we can inflict on others. And they have to set boundaries or do what they have to do to kind of protect themselves. And my family was good at setting those up, and also having a handout as well. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I walked out of my office, and I made the call, you know, and at first I wanted to go to somewhere like Florida or to the West Coast so I could just hide for a few weeks and just get away so no one could bother me. But I kind of came to my senses. I called Fairbanks and it said, hey, I'm gonna pack a bag, I'll be up there tomorrow. And that's what I did. I showed up the next day. My father took me, and I was there for about 3 weeks. I completely detoxed off opiates, and it was a very long and painful process. What I've learned in the past year and a half is one of the more important things is to love and accept myself. That was a big problem for me growing up and while I was using, and to kind of let go of the past. The past is in the past, we can't change it. And I had to move on from that. And I had to attach myself to people in the recovery community that were walking the walk. You know, you can hear people talk a lot about it, but I wanted to be around the guys who walk that walk. And I clung to them and attached myself to them and asked them how, you know, being 37 years old and using for 26, 27 years, I did not know still learning how to live a life to be an adult, and they helped me out with that. My life's gotten so much better through then. I'm happy for once in my life. The relationships with my family have gotten a lot better. I'm able to deal with certain things that pop up in my life that can be difficult. Like I have people I can reach out to and talk about it with, and I can get through that without having to pick up a drug just to get through that. And you know, I wake up every day. It's a blessing now. I had times in my life where I was suicidal, and I had tried that a couple times. I just have a great peace of mind now, and it's a great thing to have, you know. Has it been all ups this whole time? No, there have been some downs, but as I said earlier, I've learned how to cope with those downs and talk about them with people in recovery, you know, my brothers in recovery, to help me get through that.
Thank you very much for sharing. Again, the success part of the success story is what we're all trying to focus on, right?
Yeah. Feels good to know that people are in recovery and helping themselves and mending relationships with their family and friends. It's
That's a
great.
big part of it.
Yeah.
They kind of go back and they can reconnect some
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're about to wrap up this edition of Connecting Hope. Stay with us. We're right back after this. Thanks again for watching Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer. And hey, you recently got an opportunity to present, you and Kelly Gunn, and who was with you?
Bruce Frost with
Okay.
Carmel Fire, Billy Adams with Westfield Police, Ben Wilson with Aspire, Jim Ginder with the Health Department.
And this was the drug symposium in
Yes,
downtown Indy that
yes.
was also virtual around the world, really.
Yes,
What,
yeah.
what went on that day and what'd you learn?
Oh, it was great. This is the third one that I've been to. This is the 11th drug symposium that the Attorney General has put on. But we were able to speak during one of the sessions about our COPE and quick response teams, and we probably had 30 to 35 people in our session and had a lot of good feedback at the end, people coming up and asking more questions and wanting more information. So very successful, we thought.
Monica Greer and team spreading the news.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Connecting Hope.